Dillon and Tari tonight?
Dillon's available. Tari is testing out right now. See how it feels.
Anything else?
When it comes to closing lineups, the Rockets been involved in most clutch games in the entire NBA through 7 games. When it comes to closing lineups, do you base that more on how they're playing defensively throughout the game more than their offense?
No, situational, both. Obviously, we dead ball situations will sub as accordingly, offense for defense. But for instance, the Golden State game, we stayed with the unit that got us back in the game. They were doing well on both sides, and kind of sub based on the long stretches they were playing. So it works for both ways. I think you don't want to overreact to what other teams do with their lineups. I mean, they try to go small to have you react to that, but we love Alfred, obviously, with any lineup and want to make them pay if they try to go small and find a matchup that we like. So situational, except for dead ball situations.
Is it important to your offense that Fred is aggressive and looking for his shot?
I wouldn't say necessarily looking for a shot. It's aggressive to make the right play. And coincidentally, at the start of the season, we've had a lot of bigs that have stayed back and dropped Edie early and then Wembanyama a few times. So those shots presented themselves for he and Jalen, specifically the main handlers. And, it's just making the right read. We love Alfred in the pocket, and those guys are sagging back, so we'll take whatever look it is. It's just making the right read more than looking for a shot.
Do you feel like he's done that more often than not?
Yeah, I mean, he's missed some shots early. I think a lot of our guys, the shooting numbers were down to start. And some guys have some hot games, and some guys have come back to life a little bit. But the assist numbers are great for him as well. Like 5 turnovers and assists in the 30. So when it's not working as far as scoring for somebody, as you saw with Jalen the other night, you can still impact the ball game in different ways until your shot comes back.
I'm trying to remember the timeline, but did you cross paths with Mitch Johnson in San Antonio?
Yeah, we worked together for a few years.
Okay, what were your initial impressions of him when he came aboard?
Mitch is my guy. I've known him, from Northwest, in Portland, Seattle connection, and he came with DeJounte initially. And Mitch was my tennis partner for a little bit out in the heat in San Antonio, but he went to the G League initially and then came back up with us. And some guys moved on, so got a great relationship with Mitch, and very heady player initially back in the day when he was at Stanford, and saw that translate into coaching. So it's not a surprise that Pop leans on him and he's moved his way up.
Who was the better tennis player?
I beat him anytime. Close games, so.
Are you kind of happy for him to, obviously unfortunate circumstances, but happy to see him get this kind of opportunity while Pop's out?
Yeah, I mean, you could see it coming, moving up, and a lot of guys have come and gone, so he has worked his way up, but you have to build trust and to be in that situation in the first place. And then obviously Brett's there as well, and a guy that I worked with, played for, and worked with in Philly as well. And so, you'll have a guy they can lean on that's been there, done that, and I think Mitch's temperament and IQ is going to help him in any situation.
Is there a way that Pop works with his assistants that allows so many of you to become head coaches, any different than other head coaches work with their assistants?
I would say the trust and opportunity to grow is the main thing. He puts a lot on your plate and doesn't try to micromanage doing it all himself. And so I try to take that from him and give our coaches opportunities. And it's not an offensive, defensive coordinator. He wants you to be well-rounded and work on every aspect of the game. And so, you're doing your scouts, but you also have a ton to do with player development, I think both sides of the ball. And like I said, become well-rounded. So the trust he instills in his guys, probably because he's so confident in what he's done and been doing for so long, that he allows you to really grow, which is not always the case with other places I've been.
Who's the best part of your tennis game? I'm sorry. Who's the best part of your tennis game? Serve, backhand, yeah.
I'm not great, but Mitch was just worse than me.
You made these first several games, just as you get to know your guys and how you want to do the rotations. So what have you learned most about your team in these first several games?
I think we've been up and down, and we're trying to put a full game together. You learned what we saw last year, which is we're going to continue to fight. Whether we're in a deficit, we worked our way back into some games, but you want to be more consistent with maintaining leads when we have them. And so we're a little inconsistent still, and we want to be much more consistent going into it. But we saw it last year. We're a group of fighters, scrappers that can turn it up when we need to, and just got to get off to better starts and avoid some of those deficits and have to fight back.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.